851, turn right, heading 180. Order 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established 27.
It's mid-April, and that means it's time to return a once again focus to Cathay Pacific. They've been a carrier within the aviation industry that I have been keeping a very close eye on, as their operations have been severely impacted by the pandemic. But I think more generally, their sheer size prior to the pandemic and their recent fall has been incredibly upsetting, but also intriguing to document as a bit of a case study. The month of January this year did offer them some reprieve within the industry, however it was still nowhere near the levels required to be profitable. February, though, saw numbers significantly drop, and for March, it's continuing to face an all-time low as numbers essentially just plateau, with no sense of a rise. The airline noted that for the month of March they carried 30,628 passengers, however this is a decrease in numbers carried compared to the month prior, of February 2022, and just for some reference, they carried 31,253 passengers for the previous month in February. More strikingly, however, carrying just 30,000 passengers does actually mean that this is a drop of 99% over pre-pandemic levels, and it's a staggering percentage when you actually say it out loud and think about the repercussions it has on the airline's operations. In early April, however, for Cathay Pacific, they did see some restrictions ease when flying into Hong Kong. Travel bans were eased that now mean passengers set to arrive from specified countries can take hotel quarantine for a shorter period. However, while this will still most likely see the airline report higher numbers for April, you would probably imagine that this would be a rather modest amount of growth that will still see the numbers on the low side. I can't imagine it, say, jumping to 100,000. And the concerning thing is because 30,000 is just so low, even 100,000 passengers, which I do not believe they'll achieve for a while, is still nowhere near good enough, just to reiterate that. While it's a massive improvement on the 30k is just so bad that it's going to take a lot more, and that is why Cathay Pacific executives have said time and time again that they don't really believe that they're going to see an improved growth for a very long time, unless something major changes and the easing of hotel quarantine is not major enough. Cathay Pacific have warned that they do need the further easing of restrictions and for the government to be more clear on what their plans are, setting out a timetable that would be appropriate and one that also could provide the airline with clarity to be able to base their upcoming schedules off. However, the airline has faced challenges throughout the pandemic, not just from the pandemic itself, but also just the restrictions it has brought with it from the government, who have continued really to blame Cathay Pacific, highlighting that it was their fault for several outcomes faced in the region. That is why we've seen key headlines appearing that the airline is trying to be killed off. So it has definitely been a battle for them, but the airline has not given up, showing strong signs of resilience to still be operating at a 99% reduction in pre-pandemic levels, as what was once a very significant carrier is concerning, and I say that every month. One can only hope, though, it is going to improve one day. In April, of course, we've seen some restrictions eased, so should they realistically be carrying more than 30,000 for this month? Yes, but how much more? Well, time will only tell on that front, but I can't imagine tourists will, say, be flocking to Hong Kong given the restrictions there, so the increase will be very likely minimal, and while they may be now, at the moment, reporting 99% lower levels, for the month of April it could be 97%. As you can see, it's an improvement, but 2% on the grand scheme of things is still not enough after so many years now of struggles from the airline. As I always do, I'll be wishing Cathay Pacific all the very best, as none of these scenes are nice to see. I'll be back next month to document the latest update, and I think it's personally going to be one of the most intriguing to see whether those restrictions being eased really ultimately had an effect on the passengers carried for the Hong Kong-based airline. Do let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.